Thanks for the tip, but what the duck? Amount, $128. Tip, $1,000. Beautiful nipples, princess, call me. The master at gentleman luxury. Oh my god. Why they expose, though? I mean, like, if you do that, then, you know, that's what you get. Princess treatment only. Well, there's a lot of guys that do weird stuff like this, yeah. She's going? You think so? Well, I don't know. This is a dom trying to recruit a sub? Yeah, absolutely. For 1K, you can call me whatever you want. I gotta admit, I'm curious to see the nipples. Oh my god. If anyone would like to comment on my nipples, I'm down for half the price. Well, I think that people say that, but, like, whenever it's, like... Here's the difference, I think, whenever you're a girl, is that whenever you're a guy, unless there's, like, something wrong with you, or you're really young, or, you know, you're just, like, towards the end of, like, the bell curve, you're going to be able to defend yourself against another guy. But women are just, like, smaller, weaker, and slower than men are. So there's, like, the added physical threat of this happening. So I think that's very different. So that, like, guys, I don't think can really see the way that women react to this kind of stuff in the same way, because we've never been put in that position. It's like a lot of girls, I swear to fucking God, man, there are girls, like, it's like going out as a girl for a lot of them is like playing on a PvP server. Like, they have, like, all these strategies for, like, how they're not going to have, you know, a guy talk to them in this situation or whatever else. They have, like, pepper spray. They have, like, a person they're going to call. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, it's PvP server. And guys don't have to worry about that in the same way, right? And also, like, it can make you very uncomfortable, because here's the issue, right? Is that if a guy does this, you don't know if this guy's going to show up tomorrow with a gun. You don't know if this guy's going to try to harass you, or he's going to get mad at you for not calling him or something like that. And again, it's like the Chris Tucker joke. You know, we always tell jokes about crazy girlfriends because whenever a girl has a crazy boyfriend, she's dead. So that's just what happens. Guys don't check rejections well. Well, the kind of people that are mentally unstable enough to tip $1,000 and tell a girl on a receipt that she has nice nipples, yeah, I don't think that's very mentally stable. I think you're over-exaggerating how often this happens. I am absolutely over-exaggerating it. But think about how guys feel whenever the possibility of being falsely accused of rape could happen. Whenever only about 5% of rape cases are proven to be untrue. And a lot of the other ones are proven to be true. This is like a vast, vast, vast minority, but at the same time, every guy has that in the back of their mind. You see what I'm saying? So, I understand what you're saying, and of course it doesn't happen all the time, but at the same time, guys can be accused of that, and this is an extremely rare circumstance. But a lot of guys think about it. 1%'s happen very often. I think about how many 1% mounts I have. 1 in 20 court cases proven false is a lot, though. Yes, and every single person who gets accused of, sentenced or convicted of any sort of sexual assault or sexual misconduct has an average of 5 victims that it had happened to before they get convicted. So, like, just the person that convicts them, that's victim number, 5 or 6. So, you have to look at it in the context of the numbers from the opposite direction. And all I'm really trying to get at is that whenever people have a story of this happening, the same as, guys have a story of, there's, a guy that, gets accused of being, he reads a girl wrong and he does the wrong thing. He grabs her boob or something like that whenever he thought that was, kind of what she wanted him to do. And, I'm not trying to talk about whether this is the right thing or the wrong thing to do. But what I'm saying is that, he thought this was okay, and he was very wrong, and it ruins his life. I think that there's a lot of people who worry about that happening. Guys, I mean, how many of you guys have worried about that happening to you whenever you've had interactions with women before? Me, right? But like, what really are the odds of that happening? I would say it's extremely, extremely low. So why is it, yeah, like it's extremely low that like this actually happens? So why is it that whenever men have the exact same sense of conflict aversion for the same like general situation, it's seen as being reasonable, but when women do it, they're overreacting? Do you see my logic here? It's a double standard. Yes, it is a double standard. Most men are biased. Well, they're not biased. Well, they are, but there's nothing really wrong with being biased. It's just that you should acknowledge that you are. Reverse the roles, yeah. And I'm making that comment in reference to sexual assault. I'm saying 1 in 20, any criminal charge being proven false is a shit ton. Oh, yeah. Why didn't the guy say this to her instead of writing it down? Think about why that could be. Yeah, I doubt he's ever said that to someone. I just can't see someone saying that shit to people and being serious. Oh, you'd be surprised at how stupid some people are. Yeah. But did she call him? I don't know. The master Lamau. Maybe it was him that actually wrote this, and he didn't even mean to do this, and he's just doing this to recruit girls online by acting like a creepy weird guy and posting it online so other girls will try to message him at this and then he's actually AoE farming them. It's like a 200 IQ strat. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, big brain, yeah. OnlyFans simps in a nutshell. No, because this guy actually wants to get something out of it, so it's different. Take the money, be happy, ignore the message, and win. Yeah, until he shows up at the work again. Imagine complaining that somebody gave you a $1,000 tip. Yeah, and so this is the problem. So, like, I'm going to give you another example, and this is a problem that I think a lot of guys have, is that they look at the advantages that women have for being young and attractive, and they look at that in a vacuum. So, like, for example, and I think that women do that for men, too, where, like, women look at advantages that men have, and then women never think to themselves, well, what about the other side? So the truth is that I've known a lot of female streamers who have gotten really big donations and really big tips, and then the girl announces that she has like a boyfriend or something like that, or she just does something. She changes her hair color, and then the guy doesn't like her new hair color, and he refunds all of the donations, and it completely fucks up her finances. So, and also, like, and that's the best case scenario, right? What advantage do men have? Well, men don't have to have kids. So if you want to participate in having kids, you don't have to damage your body to childbirth. And I think the window of time in which that, you know, you can have kids and be seen as like, I would say like more as like, you know, sexually attractive is larger than women. Like I would say those are probably the two main things. And also, men are stronger, faster. I think that's a pretty big thing, too. They're bigger. Yeah, more breedable time. Exactly. And, like, that's just, again, that is just biology. That's the way it works. And I'm not, like, this isn't women bad, men good. No, that's just the way it is. So, anyway, another thing that girls have happen is that they have guys that donate really large amounts of money, and then they think that that entitles them to one-on-one time with the girl. Like, if you talk to 5 girl streamers, you will probably have 5 girl streamers telling you that this has happened to them. They even do it in WoW. What, it doesn't? Yeah, exactly. True, it happened to Jenny. Yeah, and so, and the problem is that whenever you say no or try to like kind of like avoid that type of a situation, sometimes that enrages the person, and now this is a secret phase of stalking, harassment, abuse, or some other variation. So like obviously whenever women have this happen, somebody gives you $1,000, they might think that that means that you owe them something. So this can be a very unsettling thing for a lot of girls. So like whenever guys say, oh, I'd let anybody pay, you know, $100 to compliment my nipples, that's like the same thing as like the guys that comment, like obviously this is like way different levels of severity, but I think it's like on the same spectrum of just total fucking social retardation as the people that are like, whenever there's a woman teacher that has a relationship with an underage male student. And it's like all the guys in the comments that are like 53 with wraparound sunglasses and camouflage hats. Like, where was she whenever I was in school? Oh, man. Oh, dude, he gotta be the coolest kid. I wish it was me. Yeah, exactly, right? And it's just the opposite. It's the opposite. Looks false? Oh, I don't know about that. I have no idea. I feel like I've seen this dynamic many times IRL. I know from people towards women. Sad fact is women in both countries can't be classified as rapists by law. It's fucked. Oh, sure, but like that's not really what I'm talking about. I mean, like I guess it kind of is, but like all I'm really trying to get at is that like the guys that have that type of perspective, that perspective is just a perspective that is just totally ignorant. And it's ignorant to the extent that I don't even really get mad at a guy for having that perspective because he would just never know this. Like, how could a guy know this is going to happen unless, you know, maybe his mother, his daughter, his, you know, sister or wife had to deal with this, or like a close friend of his that was a female. So yeah, it's socially retarded 100%. Yeah, and so that's what happens. I'm in Valkyrie's Discord server. We had multiple people sub and try to join the server and demand to speak with her since they paid $5. Yeah, of course that's what happens. Your recent video about the chick getting the donations really opened my eyes to this bullshit. Kinda new, but I wasn't aware of how pervasive it was. Yeah, it is. My wife has OnlyFans and be a cam girl. She has 10 to 20 dicks every day. Well, good for her. So yeah, it's narrow-minded, or they're not thinking about the situation as a whole. Of course not. That's why awareness and education about this stuff is important. Well, the problem is that, like, I actually think that it would be better if more guys like me talked about it. Because, like, I do a lot of, like, edgy, like, kind of... Like, I will make incel jokes. I make incel jokes all the time, right? But they're just jokes. And I wish more guys that had, like, kind of like the audience that I had would say this and just be more honest about it. Because I think that's the group of people that, like, this kind of stuff isn't really getting through to. And I know some people probably aren't listening to that. Your Reddit's an incel factory? Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of incels on Reddit, so that's the way it goes. Why do I feel like guys don't know how to court and have a relationship with women? Well, the reason why men don't know how to court and have a relationship with women is because our culture is not one culture. It's a amalgamation of, like, 10 different cultures. And in each different culture, there's a different expectation of courtship. And if you misread which courtship you should do, you could potentially ruin your life. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's some of the reasons. And I think also a lot of the guys that are talking about courtship, like, courtship isn't sending her a picture of your dick. A lot of the guys that talk about, oh, well, I don't know how to, you know, like, well, then how are you allowed to talk to women? I want to see your last 10 conversations with women, and I want to read every DM. Because I guarantee you they're going to come off with, a creepy fuck. You see what I'm saying? And I've seen this before. It's probably filled with dick pics. Yeah, just creepy, weird shit. Hey, girls, show tits. Yeah, exactly. Sure, I'll send them to your email right now. Oh, thank you. Bit of an L take, but I understand where you're coming from. That's why old guys are getting the younger women. Well, that's just the way it's been for about a million years. Probably a bit longer than that. How about an Indian guy sending those messages? I mean, if it's an Indian guy or a white guy, it doesn't really matter. It's still bad, right? I mean, who cares if it's an Indian guy? It's about looks. It doesn't matter how you talk to women. 8 out of 10 guys can send dick pics and still have success with women's. So I can only speak to what girls have told me. So there's a lot of girls that actually don't want those kind of guys because those kind of guys are completely unfaithful. They're assholes. They won't help you. They will, like, immediately cheat on you. It's like if he's sending that picture to you, he's sending it to like 10 other girls, and it makes a lot of girls insecure. And they could be creepy. They could also be like hyper aggressive because they feel like they deserve it. So there's a lot of girls actually that are put off by that. Now, of course, there's girls that aren't. Sure. But as with anything, I don't think you can just say 8 out of 10. Because a lot of the girls that I've talked to, many of them very pretty, all do not like that. And I've talked to them about this kind of stuff before. Like, I find it very interesting. I always ask people about this kind of stuff. Every guy can be a 7 out of 10? Is that what Hassan said? I think he's probably right in 99% of circumstances. Maybe 95. But I actually think that he's right. If he just had tipped $1,000, left his phone, guaranteed he gets a call back. He overplayed his hand. Yeah, he did. Yeah, you've got to kind of lure him in, right? It's like you don't just have the you got to get him on the hook first, right? Too many statistics. Yeah, exactly. You always talk to people about dick pics. It's more common than you'd imagine. Yell take is because cultures are where unsolicited male advances are deemed acceptables are cultures where women are heavily marginalized. Sexual assault is sexual assault. It doesn't matter what culture you're trying to emulate. It's time to start accepting those cultural norms that they were manufactured by horny men. So here's the reality, right? Is that I think that there are a lot of women that like the courtship of whenever I say no, I mean yes. There are women that like that. I could not believe... I thought that was bullshit. But I see it. And I see them on Twitter talking about that. Oh, whatever happened to this? So I don't think that it's just basically like men that think this and impose this on women. There's some women that like playing the hard to get game. They do like that. I mean, like, are you really going to take the agency away from them and tell them that... I mean, are you going to make the, internalized, sexualization or internalized sexism or something like that argument? Because I don't think that's really true. I think that there's a lot of women that like that because it's a power play, right? It's like basically, selection fantasy, which is like one of the most popular female types of anime. So I think that it's wrong logically. It's wrong just on like a basic level. It's a chase. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I see what you're saying. And I think that you're right that we shouldn't accept cultures that do this. But what I'm saying is that it's still true that people in that culture are more accepting of it. Maybe they shouldn't be, but they are. And there's going to be a different read for that. Like, for example, there are some people who think that, you shouldn't initiate physical contact, unless you've been on like 2 dates or 1 date, or if you touch somebody on the shoulder whenever you first meet them, that's okay. It really just depends on who you ask. And that's what I mean by culture. I don't mean culture as in like, whenever you want to find out who your bride is, you get a burlap sack and you put them in the sack and then you kidnap them and marry them. Like, that's not, no, that's not what I'm talking about, okay? I'm talking about just like small nuances. Cultures where men should be aggressive is kind of dangerous in my opinion. Of course it can be dangerous. Yeah, you're right about that. But yeah, that's my take on this. I did see this, and I do hope that more, like, I don't know, do you guys see what I'm saying about this? Yeah, do you guys kind of like get my perspective on this? Because I wish more people talked about it in a more measured way. Because I think that people either say all of one half of what I'm saying or all of the other half of what I'm saying. It's like nobody really gives people a measured perspective because they're constantly trying to play to like a base of, like incels or a base of like, super like hyper feminists. It's common sense. Yeah. Talking more about the aggressors, small gestures is up for interpretation. It's tricky. Yeah. And I agree it results in men just not wanting to try. Yeah, definitely. Incels versus feminists, the battle will be legendary. Oh, it's been going on for a while. I'll read a few more comments about this and then we'll move on. Just ask any attractive girl about their Insta messages. It's just horror. Even if you're average looking, you get crazy messages. Most of our current morals are fairly new. It'll take time for people to be 100% integrated worldwide. Oh, they never will be. Because the current moral structure that we have is antithetical to human behavior. And so you're never actually going to have a real conversion. People are monkeys. Like, you can put a suit on a monkey, but it's still a monkey, and it doesn't matter like how many times you have it learn multiplication. It's still going to be a monkey. So I don't think that's going to happen. Engineer and Decro Galactic Driver is awesome. You're right. Yeah, it was fucking crazy, right? Why are people more pointing it out? Because it's seen as like defeatist. Confidence is the key, in my opinion, for guys. One thing that I've noticed as a guy is that the more successful you are, the more girls will like you. That's basically the main thing. Even if you're successful in like a video game, like it's not like women are hoes and gold diggers and they just want money. But I think that one thing that matters a lot is success. Imagine that. Yeah, success is safety. Exactly. Yeah, it's biological. I mean, you gonna go with the chieftain that's able to kill a bull, or Ugg that can barely fucking find a rabbit to kill? I mean, you're gonna be going with the fucking chieftain, right? And that's the guy that reproduced. So of course that's what happens. Women just find competence attractive? Yeah, they do. I think in a lot of cases they do. And also, I think another reason is that it shows that like the man has interests that are outside of just like their own it's like they have like their own intrinsic interests that they're trying to pursue on their own. It makes them an interesting person, basically. So there's a commenter. So what about what I'm saying is a contradiction? That goes for guys too. Get yourself a successful woman. Trust me, don't settle for someone that ain't put together. Yeah, but whenever a man looks for a woman that's successful, he's not looking for the same things than whenever a woman's looking for a man that's successful. Success in different genders means different things. You still using your hand more than your toothbrush? That's not true. I usually jerk off like maybe like every other day, and I do brush my teeth every day. You said you got to be successful? Yeah, I've been really busy recently, so I haven't had time. Yeah, what's the contradiction here? I don't understand. Like, are there people that are like, yeah, this is his first message of the day? The irony here is insane. What about what I'm saying isn't true? Yeah, I'm just confused here. I felt that, though. You said you got to be successful? Yeah, women will like you more if you're successful. Do you think that's not true? Exactly, and explain. Yeah, so women find guys that are successful more attractive. I think that's one of the most important things. Is this something that is upsetting? Like, do you not agree with this? I'm confused. What's the contradiction here? Why you don't get pussy, which explains your lack of understanding of women? What am I not understanding? I'm gonna be honest. Like, this isn't an insult to me. This doesn't bother me. Like, maybe whenever I was like 17, this would bother me. But like, I'm way too old to get offended by this. So like, what do you think I don't understand? Explain it though. Well, so do you think that women don't like successful men? Is that what you're saying? No, I'm not. Like, what do you want? What do you want me to explain? You're saying that's what matters most? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. In terms, like, I mean, besides, like, actually, that's not really true. Like, being, like, even if you're successful, but you're a horrible person and people can't talk to you, like, that probably matters more. So, like, just, like, personability probably matters number one, but success, I'd say, sometimes is number two. Yeah. But I think it also depends on the person. I'm just talking about in general. So your dumb ego chatter's feeding into the hating of women more? What got you upset? Women get instantly sexualized by men almost every interaction. Chill the fuck up, different levels of insecurity. I got my cock sucked by my sub teacher in high school during her planning period. I wish I was lying. She was gorgeous. I told all my friends she was my mom. Shit, that got me to stop skipping school to sell weed. Jesus, man. How old are you? I'm not lying, though? Yeah, no, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like you're probably, like, what, in community college now or something? It's just weird, man. I just wanted you to elaborate, and you did? Yeah. Okay, well, that's enough. Let's see. Is this person still unhappy, or what is this? Yeah, go to a therapist. It sounds like, yeah, it sounds like you had a pretty big problem. Also, his teacher's sexual thing with him underage. Yikes, America. I think it happens everything else. I think you're referring to confidence, which is very attractive, and usually with confidence comes success in life, but its consequence looks like what we want whenever we actually like confidence that made you successful. Yeah, I think confidence matters a lot too, for sure. Well, the only thing that I think probably was true in everything that he said was the fact that he said that he skipped school. I think he did. What women talk about what women want. This is a weird conversation. In Tiny Soundboard, women want this. Do we not see the irony here? What's the irony about it? I'm confused. Like, so what about it is ironic? I'm confused because I'm like a guy. Of course, guys are going to talk about what they think that women like. Same as women talk about what they think guys like. What's wrong? What's wrong with that? I'm confused. There are things you think you know what women like, but you haven't had a serious relationship in your life. Well, what about what I said isn't true? I mean, again, like, none of this stuff, like, I mean, yeah, half his mid-30s, yeah. I think that probably a lot of people in my chat are probably, like, married and stuff like that. So what about what I'm saying isn't true? So do you think that women do want, like, weird guys like this tipping them? Is that what you're saying? I mean, I'm sure that there's some people that do. Sure. But if you're having a conversation about, like, what to do, I think that you should generally play with averages, right? And I think that the average of women don't want that at all. Yeah, I mean, do you think that they do like that? What about this is not true? He's generalizing, so obviously it's not going to fit this narrative that women only like success. Well, of course I'm generalizing. Like, you can't have a conversation about a group of people without generalizing. Like, that's just the way that anything is. I didn't say it's not true. It's just ironic for you to tell us that you know what women like. Also, dude, nobody knows what women like. People write fucking songs about it. I mean, I don't know. Like, see, here's the thing, right? Is like, I've had multiple relationships in my life, and I have healthy relationships with most of the people, even after I date them. I've never had this problem. I think this is a cap. Okay. They're projecting? Yeah. No, but you're trying to make gotchas. Happily married with the kids for a decade here. A bunch of men saying women do or don't want a specific trade just isn't true. Go find a woman, talk, and be happy. I don't think that's really a good way to do it. I think that you should try to do something that is, like, in general, going to have a higher rate of success, right? Like, this guy just seems like kind of a dumbass. They're trying to argue against you for women because you're a man, saying that most women don't like weird men, and it's not your place for a man to say this to a woman. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it. That, like, yeah. And you know why I think it happens? I think it's because a lot of these kinds of people are the kinds of weird men that write messages like this, and they feel like they're taking it personally, right? So the moment that, like, I start saying this kind of stuff, well, then suddenly, like, now they feel insecure because maybe they've behaved this way. You know, they're triggered. Yes, they're getting unironically triggered. I think that's what happens. They also can't believe their headcanon of you isn't a genuine weirdo. Well, I mean, people can think whatever they want about me, but, like, ultimately it doesn't really matter, like, what I think or what I do or anything like that. It's either true or not. What is this? But yeah, we can go back and forth about this forever. But ultimately, I do think that I'm right about this, and I think I've got a pretty decent read on this kind of stuff. But obviously, I'm not perfect. But you could ask somebody else. I mean, go ask Hassan. Go ask, you know, anybody else that you think, like, go ask, I don't know, like Wake. Wake's in good shape, right? He's a good-looking guy. Go ask him. Go ask Miz. Go ask anybody else. Like, anybody that you feel is, like, in shape, in a position to talk about this, I bet they're going to say the same fucking thing that I am. Destiny? Canute? Yeah, go ask Canute. There it is. Miz? Yeah, I think Miz is in really good shape now. I do. Am I crazy? I think he is. Go ask Andrew Tate. Well, I don't know about that.